Hello, peoples. A few hours ago, I saw Matthew Vaughn's Argyle. I'm not the hugest Matthew Vaughn fan. I really like some of his movies, and I really don't like some of his movies. I think the biggest one that I was very shocked by how bad it was his most recent one before this, which was The Kingsman. I thought that movie was a mess and way too into itself, and it just really wasn't a good war Kingsman movie. It was just a weird movie in general. I really like both of his Kingsman movies, even The Golden Circle, which I knew didn't get the best reviews. I really liked Kick-Ass. I really liked X-Men First Class. So I like his movies mostly generally. But, with his last movie, I was very unsure, and Argyle was unfortunately more into this downslope of Matthew Vaughn that I'm not caring for so far. I think this is actually very similar to The Kingsman, and I have a lot of the similar issues that I had with The Kingsman. I think this movie was disjointed all over the place, and when you're looking at this movie, it is very jaw-droppingly bad with the CGI. Like there was some CGI that was really atrocious. It makes me go like to the point where I'm watching it, I'm like, there's absolutely in no way, shape, or form like Matthew Vaughn or anybody involved watched that and thought it looked good. Like it's as simple as that. So I'm just curious, like what happened? This movie cost $200 million, the average cost of a Marvel movie. It doesn't look like it. I would have guessed that this costs like from 75 to 100 million just based off the CGI. But I guess these actors wanted big paydays because this is a stacked cast. You got Henry Cavill, Sam Rockwell, the mom from Home Alone, Bryan Cranston, Bryce Dallas Howard, John Cena. You got all these people, and I guess maybe they wanted big paychecks. I don't know. I don't know what went wrong with this production, but I just know it does not look like $200 million. Another thing that did quite bother me about this movie was the runtime. This movie's way too long. It could have been 45 minutes shorter. It did not. The movie was very self aware as you were watching it, but it wasn't really self aware with its runtime because this is one of those movies that just needed to be quick, and it wasn't. There was one point where I just kind of hoped the movie was over, and I was like in a state of like, okay, this is fine. But then it kept going for another 20 minutes. I was like, oh my god, please be done. I thought you were more self aware than this. I guess I'm disappointed with this movie was because not because I was thinking, oh, this is going to be good. In fact, I was sick and tired of the trailers. I didn't even think this movie looked good. But as I was watching the movie, I would constantly think to myself, that's a good idea. I think this movie has a lot of good ideas with its themes in particular, considering that this character is a writer and how she feels like she's always written stuff that kind of happens. And story time, my first short film, Aftermath, you can check it out. It's about three teenagers who are running back from their school because there was a school shooting that happened. And that's just basically a quick consensus. The same day I finished the script and sent it to my film teacher to print the scripts for me, the Uvalde, Texas shooting happened the very same day. And so it's odd with things like that sometimes. And I know it's a horrible coincidence because then it became a whole thing with my family. Anyway, so that is obviously something that I feel like is a kind of a thing if you work with movies, if you write movies. That's just kind of a thing that happens sometimes. Considering what you're writing is going to be something timely, the commentary that you're kind of trying to do on that timely thing is probably going to be more evident when you're writing it. So I feel like you're manifesting stuff, even though it's just kind of the way it works. This movie embodied that on paper, and on screen it didn't translate as well as I hoped. It also had a beautiful message kind of in there about like how we have our hidden meanings beyond things than just the way it looks in surface value. So you could be watching a movie that looks like a piece of crap, but it meant something to somebody. And I guess that's something I kind of feel for this movie. It was kind of a piece of crap. Well, not a piece of crap. Yeah, I'll chill out. It wasn't very good. Yet you could tell that Matthew Vaughn had something personal with this film. Though that kind of commentary I really, really liked. But it's just so sad. And the reason why I say I'm disappointed, not because I was looking forward to this, is because I saw those ideas in there that I thought were really good, and then it would just go back to being the crapfest $200 million CGI dump that it was. And so that's why I'm so disappointed because I know those were good ideas. I know Matthew Vaughn has it in him to make a good movie. So it just makes me have a lot of questions like, why is this movie this way? Was it intentionally this bland and boring from the get-go? The movie has a lot of twists and turns, and there were some good ones, and there were some ones that were leaked on Twitter. Overall, the twists and turns were fine. There was some good action sequences, kinda, that weren't drowned out as much as in CGI, but there was one CGI towards the end that involves ice oil skating, I guess, and it is horrendous CGI wise, and it makes you question like this movie cost $200 million. You can go to this location. Why? And considering when you see the location in the movie that they do this in, it makes you question why couldn't they do it there? Because it is not that difficult to obtain, I think. So it's just a lot of weird decisions like that behind the camera where it just makes me question what happened. Why is this movie this way? And it's just one of those action blockbusters that is ultimately bland with some hints of brilliance, but ultimately just feels like a product. That's all I gotta say. I don't remember what score I gave this. I want to stay true to what I gave it on Letterboxd. But anyway, I'm going to give Argyle a 4.3 out of 10. Unfortunately, Matthew Vaughn did not do it for me once again this time around. I hope he picks it up again. I will say though, The King's Man had a awful post-credit scene, and this movie had one that was even worse. That's all I'll say. So yeah. Anyways, comment down below what you guys thought of Argyle. I hope people liked it more than I did. So yeah, like, share, subscribe, and stuff like that. And adios.